Hello and welcome back to this episode of Agilato. My name is Ravi Verma. I'm the founder, CEO and org whisperer at Smooth Apps, and it's good to have you back with me. So in this episode, I'm going to share an incident from my experience as a homeowner, and it's a little bit embarrassing, so please be kind to me. So I'm going to take you back maybe about 12 years ago. My wife and I had just bought our first home, and there are many things that probably come naturally to each and every one of you that were new and unfamiliar and awkward to us. And one of those recurring challenges was the kitchen sink disposal. No matter what we tried, our kitchen sink disposal would always get clogged up. And so we had a home warranty company. We would give them a call and they would send a plumber who would come and unclog the disposal, and we'd use it for a little bit and then back to square one. And we just couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong or what we should do different. Until one day, the plumbing company sent a plumber called Tim. I still remember his name, even though this happened maybe more than 12 years ago. So Tim came to our house, he unclogged the drain, and before he left, he asked my wife and me to come and sit down next to him on the floor of our kitchen, and he showed us, he scooped out the things that were blocking our kitchen sink disposal, and he scooped them up in his palm. And he showed them to my wife and I, and he said, if you want to stop this from happening again, here are some things that commonly block this disposal that you want to avoid throwing down that drain. So some of the recurring mistakes we were making was throwing down eggshells or rice or onions. And this is something which was a blind spot for my wife and I. We didn't realize that those actions were having these unintended consequences. And I like the way Tim communicated this message to us. He was kind, he was compassionate, and the way he communicated the message, it sent the message home, and it helped us avoid those expensive home warranty calls. So in that moment, Tim earned my trust, because he took a risk of loss of his revenue or his hourly pay by possibly cutting off a future source of revenue for himself. But in doing so, he demonstrated ethical and professional behavior by putting the interests of his customers, that is my wife and me, above his personal interest or the interest of his company. So here's my invitation to you. Can you look at your interactions with your customers and take a calculated risk by identifying one area where your customers might be behaving in a way that is unintentionally hurting them, that is unintentionally destroying value and creating waste for their business? And even though that action might be creating value for you or your company, can you have the courage and demonstrate the ethics and professionalism of our industry by educating your customer so they do not incur those unintentional consequences anymore? Now you might ask why? Why should you take this risk? And let me explain why. So the next time you are trying to have an interaction with your clients and trying to create some flexibility over the predefined processes and tools, maybe you are trying to influence them to invest more time in helping you develop some working software and ease up on the documentation, which might be some of which might be wasteful. Or perhaps you are trying to influence them to collaborate with you in the face of some unforeseen event which could not be captured in the contract that you have written. Or maybe you are trying to get their buy-in to respond to some unforeseen change in a way that maximizes value for their business, as opposed to following a plan which you may have agreed to, but which might be wasteful for their business. The one factor which might influence whether or not your client collaborates with you or partners with you is the presence of trust. Does your client trust you to be an ethical professional the way that I began trusting Tim. The extent to which your clients answer that question with a yes is likely going to influence the extent to which they will collaborate with you along the left side of the Agile Manifesto. So here's my closing challenge. Can you and your team members take a risk and demonstrate your ethical and professional behavior to your client within the next sprint? Could that increase the level of trust and confidence your clients have in you? And could it perhaps create a more conducive environment for agile collaboration between you and your clients? Try it out. Let me know how it goes. And until the next episode, Scrum on. So did you like what you saw? Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get notified of our fresh episodes. Follow us on social media and share with your friends and colleagues. And if you want more free tools and tips and techniques, don't forget to check out smoothapps.com. You can find out our upcoming trainings and events. We've got our provocative and controversial blog. And you can even schedule a free mentoring session with me as we explore some unique agile challenges your teams are facing. So until next time, Scrum on.